If you want one more hot take, right? Because we hit all the corners except wide receiver.
Yeah.
I got one for you.
All right, let's hear it.
Are you prepared for this?
All right, is it like
So
egregious?
it's up there, but
Okay.
I think it's definitely possible. So I'm gonna read you some stats really quick, all right?
Am I gonna have to guess this player?
If you can, I'd be impressed. 2014,
Okay.
2014 rookie year, 1,300 yards,
Okay.
91 receptions, 12 touchdowns.
Okay.
Any guess on who that is?
Mike Evans.
No, it's Odell Beckham on the
Oh.
Giants.
Oh no. Oh no.
My hot
Oh
take
no.
is that every single one of those stats that I just named,
Okay.
Malik Nabers is going to exceed them in his rookie year.
All right. I'm so glad you brought this shit up because I wanted to say something. In most fantasy drafts that I've been in, this motherfucker Malik Nabers has been going in the second round every fucking time. I'm sorry. There's no reason to why a rookie wide receiver. I'm not saying he's not a great wide receiver because he's phenomenal. His jump ball radius is ridiculous, but he's on the fucking Giants. His quarterback is Daniel Jones. I
So
understand.
So there is similarities here to what I just said with Odell, right? Odell came in 2014 and we had an aging Eli Manning, right? Who
Yeah,
didn't have a ton of outside presence. Daniel Jones, you could at least say can still run the ball and get out of the pocket on some instances, right?
yeah, White
That's a
Michael Vick.
lot more than people can say for Eli. Am I even going to compare Daniel Jones to Eli Manning? Not even a little. Okay, they're night and day. It's actually a disgrace to even say them in the same sentence in some scenarios. However, team wise, there's a lot of situations where they were similar. Look, you don't have a good offensive line,
Okay.
right? You have a rookie wide receiver coming in who was drafted in the first round. Odell was drafted in the first round as well. So much hype around these guys because they're excellent route runners. They can go up there and catch the ball. And you know what? If I'm being completely honest, throughout the year, if I'm Daniel Jones and I'm in trouble, worst comes to worst, I'm just throwing it up to the guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you're going to get absolutely destroyed in the backfield anyway, 5, 10 times a game, which is probably going to happen to him this year, I'd be surprised if he doesn't break his neck by week 6 again. But I would just continuously throw it up to Neighbors, and I think he's going to be more of that like safety valve where if I have nobody open, damn, I'm just going to throw it up to him and see what he can do.
Yeah,
Now, to your point, also in the second round, that's egregious.
yeah.
That's egregious.
I don't understand. Like, I can't fathom it. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, don't get me wrong. Marvin Harrison, that mother. Like, I've seen him like during like clips of him during training camp and shit, to where his route running is actually fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
To where like he's getting open off his routes. What I see from Neighbors is him like jump balls and he's catching it. It's hard. Like in this league, if your quarterback doesn't have time, how the fuck is he gonna be able to fucking? Because the Giants, let's be real, they have like one of the worst O lines in the league.
They've improved since last year. However, they
It's
are still bottom quadrant in the league in offensive
it has
line.
to be at
Yes,
least like 29. I don't know off the top of my head. It has to be like 29 or something.
it's not good, especially when you really like you obviously have your franchise left tackle in Andrew Thomas, who's still an absolute stud, right? You hope that Neal is going to take that step moving forward over on the right side, but you can't guarantee it because of just how shitty he looked last year.
Yeah.
Right? You drafted a center who's hopefully is going to be a lot better in improvement. But once again, if any of these guys gets injured, you have absolutely no depth,
Yeah.
zero depth. And on top of that, I think Neighbors is one of those scenarios where he's either going to have a great year, right? Because Daniel Jones is just going to get it in his vicinity and he's going to get open with his route running and he's going to get open with his jump balls. Or he's going to have an absolutely horrific year because Daniel Jones just is the worst piece of crap on the face of the planet. I could go out there, you could go out there, maybe throw better than Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
It's going to be one way or the other.
Yeah. I that. It's just I just don't like. Don't get me wrong. Like what Odell did in 2014 was ridiculous. That
Of
was
course.
rookie. That was rookie of the year in numbers because he won rookie of the year, right?
I mean, I believe so. I'd be shocked if he was an offensive player rookie of the year.
So I just don't like in this day. I don't see him to get. What was the highest receiving yards for your wide receivers last year? Do you know? Off the top of your head?
For the Giants.
Yeah. What was it? Was who's? I would say Darius Slayton, right?
I mean, it was either well because Wandell Robinson was out quite a few weeks, right? So
Yeah.
if you do look at it like consistency wise, it had to have been Slayton because he did have some really good games towards the end of the year. But I'm taking a look into it right now just for my own
Sanity.
personal, my own no, more or less my own personal like destruction being a Giant fan. But it wasn't pretty. I mean, once again, to be fair, you had you had Tommy Cutlets, right? You had Tommy Cutlets, and you also had Tyrod Taylor throwing them the ball for the majority of the year. So it's a little tough to gauge in that. However, yeah, it was still a rough year. So, like for example, I'm looking. It was Slayton 770
Oh
yards.
God,
That's just horrific.
that's bad.
That's just absolutely horrific. I mean, and not even to mention that, like, if you're looking at the second guy, it was Darren Waller who was out maybe 5, 6 weeks of the year at 552. So it was a pretty pitiful receiving corp that we had going.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Like what you're saying is like the safety. Obviously, he'll be a safety valve because who else does Daniel Jones like has? Daniel Jones is not gonna throw the fucking. Obviously, You have Slayton. You still have Hyatt. I don't know who your tight end is.
Still have Hyatt, still have Wandale Robinson.
Still have
Um,
Bellinger, right?
yeah, your tight end's now going to be fully Bellinger, and then your backfield now is looking at Devin Singletary,
Oh
and
God.
I mean it's not
I
a great
actually
situation
I can't
still.
even say oh God because that motherfucker was the running back for the Bills for had to be like 4 or 5 years,
Yeah, and he took over the starting job last year with the Texans. He won the job over Damian Pierce.
which
So I
is
mean, it's not like Devin Singletary is a bad option. It's just you can't rely on the running game if you're the Giants heading into this year. So he's gonna have to pass the ball a lot. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
yeah. All right. I would. It's still a hot take, but I get what you're saying. Will I change
Oh,
my
it's a
opinion on
very
it?
hot take.
Will I change my opinion on it? Fucking never. But I understand where you're coming from. It makes sense.